Good evening, all. How is everyone out there in Facebook land? If that's a word or a phrase, I'm just peeking down real quick, everyone. I just want to make sure that we are live. It says I'm live, but I want to make sure. Okay, here we are. Good, excellent. So welcome, welcome, welcome to this roundtable this evening. My name is Jacqueline Kabai Harrison. I am a confidence and success coach, and I am coming to you live with 3 other seasoned coaches. And we're going to be talking to you this evening about the A Queens Roundtable Quarterly Symposium, which is coming up next month. Wow, I can't believe it's going to be next month already. So we're going to be basically, well, let me back up a little bit. The Quarterly Symposium obviously happens quarterly, right? So I have an excellent, excellent group of entrepreneurs that have joined me this time to give all of this knowledge to you guys. And we're specifically gearing this towards coaches and consultants to basically help you get out of your own way so you can be able to move your business, right? Where you can actually show up in your business as you want to show up in your business, right? Show up consistently, show up boldly, and be able to attract your ideal client to you, right? Which is going to lead you to scaling your business in the way that you want to. So that is the focus for each panelist. So obviously I have 3 young ladies here with me today. This isn't everybody, but we're going in groups to be able to let you guys know or have an idea of the awesomeness that's going to be at this A Queens Roundtable Quarterly Symposium. And the title of it is All About the Business. Okay, so without further ado, Andrea is going to speak to us first and tell us a little bit about herself and who she serves, how she serves them, and your why or your purpose for doing what you do.
Well, good evening, and thank you, Queen Sister, for having us on this panel. I'm so excited about what's going to happen next month, but I am ecstatic about being here, meeting all of you other panelists at the beginning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andrea Merriman. I am your creative harmony coach and the master domestic violence help coach. I am the creator of the Jennifer Y. Merriman Help Program, which is a program that offers hope, empowerment, life skills, and prevention methods against domestic violence for women from their youth up. And I am going to be in the summit that is coming up. I have seen the powerful speakers that are on the page. And what I'm going to bring to you is, especially during this pandemic time, is some information on how you can create harmony into your life, how you can stop the stagnant time that we have and feeling overwhelmed and trying to determine where your next meal is coming from, but just go in and just bring some harmony into your life and balance that life while you're in your home. And so, Queen Jacqueline, that's what I'm bringing today, and I'm excited to be here.
Good. Excellent. Excellent. So excited to have you. So next up.
So I'm trying to share it on my page. I'm not as technologically savvy, so I'll do it. I'll do it when we get around. So I'm so excited to be with you, Jacqueline, for a Queen's Roundtable all about the business, the quarterly symposium. I'm super excited about what you're bringing to the women entrepreneurs, in particular coaches. And nice to meet you, lovely ladies, queens that I will be participating with. I am Dr. Lisa Lewis Ellis, the BS boss. I am the belief system boss. I help you shift your belief system to serve your shine. So in order for us to get where we need to go and scale up our businesses, our coach practices, we have to scale up ourselves first. So I look forward in sharing with you 4 steps that have helped me and helped my clients to boss their belief system to success. So it's boss your BS to success.
Okay. Wow, that's exciting. I can't wait to hear from both of you during the summit. Okay. All right. Miss Coach K.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kanya Ford, but you can definitely just call me Coach K. I am a certified clinical sexologist and master sexologist, less intimidatingly known as a life, love, and intimacy coach. When one thinks of a sexuality coach, you automatically sometimes go to the physical. However, my goal is to empower women and men and children, especially in the areas of confidences, healthy boundaries, and communication. What I'll be bringing to the symposium, and I'm really excited. So thank you for even having me as a part of the symposium. I'm bringing to the table, we're going to talk about boundaries and kind of the effects of having poor boundaries, how we can turn it around to make healthy boundaries without guilt. So I'll be giving some tidbits and tips on that, because the one thing I do know in life, it is really hard to set any kind of boundaries around ourselves, whether it be in business or in life. As a life, love, and intimacy coach, I do take a whole host of, clients from ages, you won't believe it, of course, the parents would need to come in, but ages 5 on up, because you're never too young to truly learn healthy and safe sexuality boundaries and practices. And that means a communication from a parent to a child, and a child being able to communicate properly with the adult. So those are my expertise areas there.
Okay. All right. You kind of, I got a little bit of tickle in my throat here. You kind of threw me a little bit with that one there on the end. I hadn't even thought about that. So that's why this is so cool, bringing together, different people with all different types of backgrounds, and it's so important to talk about, because a lot of times when people think about business, they think about, the strategy, marketing, right? They think about whether you're going to do this webinar, whether you're going to do a podcast, but it all starts from your thoughts, and Lisa, I think you touched on that a little bit earlier. It starts from your thoughts, whether you think you can do it and what you think you deserve, and so on and so forth, right? So, and they call that the mindset piece. And that is so, so powerful. And then also, I was going to say, bringing together everybody at one time. I'm sorry, sometimes I have little senior moments. Bringing everybody together at one time, bringing all different expertise and talking about mindset. Oh my God, it'll come back to me. But that always comes up in terms of how you feel, how you feel about your ability to be able to create. Oh, I got to keep a check on comments too. To be able to create. Oh, how you doing, Miss Coleman? Nice to see you. To be able to create or manifest, right? The business that your ideal business, or what you actually desire, right? Because somebody can tell you all day long that you can do it, it's going to happen, but if you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Just as simple as that. So I'm sitting here and I just, I can't wait to hear from everybody. So Lisa, well, whoever wants to go, But what I want to hear is, I want you guys to go into a little bit more. Tell us about how you got to where you are today. Like, what is the motivation or the why behind why you do what you do? Let's start there. With whomever.
I don't mind starting. This is Coach K again. So as a child, back when we were little, when you were picked on, it was just, kids are just being kids. It wasn't this whole bullying thing. So you kind of got used to faking it till you make it. You built this hard exterior and you just figured it out. No matter what was going on, you typically had working parents or a single mom who was always working. You were a latchkey kid. And so you did what you had to do to not get in trouble of not doing chores. And then you were in the streets. And it was perfectly okay. But as you're older and you look back on some of the situations that you were in, you were like, oh my gosh, how did I make it here today? I was, you look at the R. Kelly thing, you're like, oh, a 20-year-old talking to a 16-year-old. Isn't that's what used to happen when we were little. But when you truly think about it, it was inappropriate.
Mhm.
So there were not a lot of people out in the communities or in the school or parents that knew how to help teach, coach children and set some kind of parameters around them. So when I grew up, and initially I got into Bedroom Candy because I'm also a consultant of Bedroom Candy. That introduction of the certification into sexuality coaching came because Candy and Dr. Rachel are really good friends.
Mhm.
And my curiosity of just human sexuality anyway, it was a no-brainer for me. This is the field that I wanted to be in. And I want to be able to, because I have 5 children of my own.
Mhm.
So raising children is not easy. You have to kind of, trial and error. You want more trial than error. And so being able to have transparent conversations, that's what led me to say, this is what I want to do. And this is the avenue that I want to go into, because I want to protect as many of our young people and adults as I can from themselves and then from others.
Okay. And you have you practice this, you do it online as well as in a physical space?
Yes, I do have a
Okay.
physical space. I do any kind of telecommunication platform that's comfortable for the client, as well as over the phone.
Okay.
So any of the traditional and non-traditional communication methods.
And how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing the certification program for about 2 years.
Okay.
I have been a human resources manager for over 15 years. So unofficially, I've been doing this for over 15 years, because no one comes into the human resource office for true work-related problems.
Okay. Yeah, I've never really thought of it. Okay. All right. Nice.
Yeah, you hear about you can't figure, a coworker can't figure out why someone's angry. Well, she just got hit in her face before she walked through the door.
Right.
You
Right.
just don't know the things that people don't tell you and what they mask.
Right. Absolutely. Wow. That might segue us into something else. To Andrea, for you to talk a little bit more about what
Yeah.
you do and your why.
Maybe on mute.
Oh my God, you know what, Andrea? I can't. We
Yep,
can't
she
hear you.
was. There she goes.
I forgot I'm muted.
Look, you saw me. I was leaning in. I was like, wait a minute. Is this just me?
So I have always been a person, I've done training and educating in the human resource field too. And I was shaking her head. No, they don't come in the office just for payroll. And so with that training and each place I've been, I've worked through. So in 2014, there was a home invasion in my home, and my 17-year-old was killed by her brother-in-law. And I go more into that story during our summit.
Okay.
But what that made me realize was that there are so many dysfunctional families calling, not understanding that the relationships are not normal. And so what I was inspired to do by one of the women's groups here was to create a program, and that's my Jennifer Y. Merriman Help program.
Mhm.
And what it does is it takes all the reasons that women that have been through domestic violence say, this is why I went back. And it entails everything, including resume writing, cooking. I never realized how many women could not cook, that the male was the person who cooked for the kids. Not understanding how to manage their money, going into red flags and women's health, and it just, the whole piece of it, just innovative and putting the whole piece together. And by being a trainer already facilitating workshops in the corporate world, it was easy to put a program together to offer. But what I also realized was that a lot of our women that are speaking, that are telling their story, that are on the stage telling their story, have not been through a lot of the healing process, seeing the therapist and the like people they need to see before they got on the platform. And they're using that platform as their healing process. which in turn has a lot of barrier on the people that are listening because it takes them into a deep place without bringing them back out. So I started looking at that creating harmony piece of that and understanding how we need to, that the healing piece is a continuous journey, but just looking at how do I balance what I'm doing with my family and my career after I've been through that trauma. And so I work with women to understand how to tell their story and that piece so that they can create that happiness in themselves so that they in turn can help other women through my program to come out of domestic violence and have a better future.
Okay. You know what? I may kind of come back to you, but I'm sorry. I just glanced at the time, and I know, Lisa, I know you have to leave shortly.
But I think it's so beautiful how we're on this panel together, because Coach K dealing with the love, the intimacy, and the life, the balance, and Coach Andrea dealing with the people sharing and not being fully healed from their past experiences in the domestic violence realm. Because in dealing with the belief systems, I walk people through who have heard the lies over time, and they have ingested those lies, and they have operated from a posture of diminished capacity because they believe certain things about themselves, and how to make the shift from believing the negative and turning it into positive. I came about this. I'm not in HR, believe it or not. I have 31 years in the financial arena. However, it's in a leadership capacity. So, as a manager, as a leader in my industry, individuals come to me all the time. So, I was coaching before coaching was coaching, if that makes sense, right?
Mhm.
And and mentoring and that sort
Mhm.
of thing for more than 31 years in the public sector. Also ordained clergy in the Christian faith, a John Maxwell certified coach, teacher, speaker, trainer, all of that stuff. However, people always came to me and say, Lisa, hey, I want this next job, HR, right? But I don't know how to get there. So working with people and what they thought about themselves, turning that around so they could put those words on paper
Right.
and get that job, so they could take the necessary training and feel qualified to even take it. If you don't feel good about yourself, you won't even put in the application to get the job. You won't even show up at the event. You won't even be, throw yourself in the race. It's what we believe about ourselves that postures ourselves. And so when I was coming up in my career, I had a manager who basically said to me, Lisa, you're too young. I was early 20, barely 21. And she said, when I was your age, I was a secretary. I don't know why you're trying so hard to get ahead. Just slow down. And I had to talk to myself because I was like, okay, that's your story. That doesn't have to be my story. So
Right.
I started working on myself and saying, no, that's not what I want for myself. So early on, I found myself getting into the professional, career ladder and so on and so forth. But it all had to do with the shift I made in my belief system. And so that's how I got into what I do and why I do what I do, because I love to see the light bulb go on for women, in particular, that make that shift in their belief system to go on to do great and magnificent things they thought they could never do before.
And tell us again, what does the BS stand for again?
Belief system.
Belief systems. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
not bull shenanigans. No. But belief systems, what you believe about yourself, what you hold dear, and if it's not serving you, how to make that shift so it can serve you.
Okay. And you do this online, right, Lisa?
I do it online. I do it in person for those that are available. I do it on the telephone. Any mechanism that I need to use to get to you and you to get to me, that's what I use.
Okay. Nice. You know what? One thing, and I didn't ask this before, but why just give us a brief synopsis because I know you're going to be leaving shortly. Why is it important for you, or why did you agree, if you will, to be a part of the roundtable?
Because aside from the fact that I love what you do and I love how you serve women and how you serve entrepreneurs, I appreciate the gift of you in the community and in the earth. So thank you for that. I agree to serve because I believe now, for such a time as this, I don't have time to sit by the sidelines anymore. I need to be able to share as often as I can from the mountaintops in the valleys. Please, there is a way to shift your belief systems, and there are 4 steps. I don't even want to give them to you now. That's why you need to come to the Queen's Roundtable Quarterly Symposium, all about the business, and listen to the training that I have. It is chock full of practical, sustainable, and actionable steps that you can walk away with out of that teaching. And I'm telling you, and have an immediate impact and a shift in your belief system. 4 simple steps, things that you probably never considered, and it easily repeat, repeat.
Okay. And I'm glad we're talking about this because so what, in addition to your presentation, I know there's a bonus or a special gift that they get. Could you
Yes, I almost
explain
forgot
that?
about that. Yes. So for participating, you get a nice freebie bonus. I do a group, I call it the BS Boss Breakthrough Session.
Okay.
So you get a chance to work with me in a group setting, and it's with me. So it's not through a video in the sense that I'll just be talking you through. I get
Mhm.
to see you eyeball to eyeball and work with you through a breakthrough session. And you bring one thing that you're trying to make a shift on, and by the end of that our time together, we will have worked through those 4 steps for you to make that shift.
Okay. So that it's going to kind of run along with your presentation. They
Yes.
can listen to your presentation, and then if they want more, they want to kind of a little bit of help and guidance, then they can go ahead and okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Like I said, I
You
know
are
you,
welcome.
did anything else you wanted to mention or share before you kind of take off?
I will watch the recording because I want to hear more from Coach K and Coach Andrea. So, because this is some good stuff here. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure
Good to
working
meet
with
you.
you. All
All
right.
right.
You take care. Okay, ladies, there we are. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So, I'm glad that we kind of are bringing that up. Talk to us a little bit, and then, well, I think Andrea was something else. See, I'm telling you, it was something else I was going to ask you. But before you guys talk about your special, bonus for the participants, anything else you wanted to share in reference to, why you decided to be a part of the A Queens Roundtable Quarterly Symposium? Like, why did you make a decision to be a part of it? Like, why did you feel like it was important?
Well,
Any
just sharing the same sentiments
Okay.
that previous coach had. It is a beautiful thing. Anytime that I have the opportunity to get on a platform with other strong, beautiful Black women and encourage other people to get into a better space for themselves, I'm all for it. Especially one that's reputable, one that has really good intentions, and one that is put together to further someone else. That's a big part of myself. Anytime it's like, go tell it on a mountain. If I can spread the gospel any kind of way that I can, that's what I want to do. And I can learn from it.
Mhm.
While I'm going to give, I will also be able to receive, because my area of expertise is not the next coach's area of expertise. But I know in combination and getting to all of that to be able to combine, it may be something that I didn't even think about that could be helpful for one of my future clients.
Mhm. Mhm. You know what? I just thought about something that I wanted to ask you. But you know what? I'm gonna go to Andrea and let you speak to that. But just in case I have another senior moment, I'm just gonna say it so we can remember it, okay? I just want to know how, with your area of expertise, Coach K, how have you been perceived in our community, meaning the African American community? And then the other piece was, do you specifically cater to individuals in the African American community, or do you work with all communities? Okay, so I said it. So in case I have a senior moment, Andrea, you're up.
I wrote it down.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be, because they've said a whole lot. It won't take me long to say. I piggyback on what both of them have said as far as the platform and just surrounding. One of the what I'll add to that is the ability to be able to surround yourself with successful women that are striving to not only build legacies for themselves and their family, but they have that service mentality. So being able to understand what that feels like and then grow with your network around people that have that, because by just speaking to them, my head's turning like, okay, I know somebody who could use them. And when you can build your network like that and you can have people that have been tried and true, that you know their ethic abilities, that they will take care of someone when you refer them, then that helps me help the people that I work with.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. So
That's really good points too. Really good points.
very much. I'm just trying to keep a check on times. I know you have to leave by a certain time too.
Just
Okay.
in
Go ahead.
the question from earlier, the perception.
Mhm.
That is a really good thing to bring up, to be honest. And immediately, most people hear the word sex, and then that's it, and it's almost a complete shutdown.
You'd be like,
And again, just oh yeah, we don't talk about it. I have a trailer, 5 kids behind me, 10 of them maybe, but we don't talk about it. And I feel like, again, just going back to when we were younger, it was don't ask, don't tell. I don't want to know about it. Just don't come home with a baby.
right. And look, that's what I got told. That was it.
And that's it. So everything else, you just plug it in. So going into a community of that mentality, that meant that next generation wasn't taught. That next generation wasn't taught. So they're picking it up from TV. So it's just an automatic thing that if the word sex is in it, it's just this physical thing no one talks about. So I am, depending on the area, I will be honest, the further up in like Northern Virginia, DC, Maryland area, the further into that area I go, I can get people to talk freely, openly, and it's no problem. When I'm here in Virginia, North Carolina, it's a little bit different. And it, coming back down to the South. So, and again, it started when I was, and I still do, the bedroom candy. And that's a perception in itself, because within my coaching practice, I do encourage our products because it is good for self-care and pampering. We have the body butters and the sugar scrubs, but the stigma is bedroom candy means sex. So again, in our community, it is looked at, unless I'm going to actually physically go have sex, I don't need you.
Okay.
And I try to break that stereotype any way I can. And that's why I like to give that second introduction of what I am, which is a life, love, and intimacy coach. Because it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna come to you for the life coaching. And then when we get in there, we're actually talking about intimacy.
Okay.
Which is perfectly okay. However you get in there, it's just fine. So yes, in our community, I am definitely looked at sideways. It may take some time to get people to feel comfortable to even reach out, because the people who do feel like they're comfortable in their sexuality, they're like, well, why do I need you?
Right.
And it's like, well, how's your communication? How do you talk with your partner? How do you talk with yourself?
Right.
You know, do you love yourself? Those are all of the pieces. And, you know, I sometimes can't even get to that. And as far as, I don't particularly only cater to our community.
Okay.
I am open to everyone. I do tend to, of course, get more in our community because there are not a lot of sexuality coaches that are in our community. There are not a lot of people that look like us that can sit and have a conversation with us about things that we probably can relate a little bit more to because we've been immersed in it in some way or another. You know, it's really hard. And that's not to say, you know, every cardiologist has not had a heart attack or a bad heart. However, one that has may be able to give you a little bit more insight on how to take care of your heart attack, or, you know, I know exactly how that feels, and they can explain it. So it's just that difference.
Okay. I want to go back to how because your topic, your presentation topic is on boundaries, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Because I want to go back to that. But Andrea, what I would like for you to share in reference to, I know you deal a lot with domestic violence, and I know that that's also another topic, you know, or I know we've touched on it here, but just in general, I think within our communities, it's kind of like whatever happens in this home stays in this home. Like, I know I was always told that, like, don't you go running your mouth about what go on here, you know, to anybody, you know. So if you'd like to, you know, maybe share, you know, anything with us about what some of the, I guess, challenges may be, and just kind of segue us into talking about your actual topic as far as like what they'll get from it, as well as what is your free gift that comes along with that.
So as I stated before, I push to disrupt what we consider normal in our families. And Coach K has really laid a lot of my foundation with the conversation, as you said, keeping it in the family. Don't ask, don't tell type mentality. But that's happening, and our women are growing up because they saw their mom fussing, fighting, falling on the ground, getting hit, and she got up and kept moving, kept cooking, kept doing what she do. And so when you're a child and you're male or female, I think statistics say at least 60% will either be victims or perpetrators, because it's a learned behavior. So they will go in and accept it. And even the ones that I've spoken with that says, hey, I'm not a victim, because we have made that term to mean that I'm weak and I'm unable to do anything for myself, and not a term that says someone has done something to you that you didn't ask for. And so when we look at it as a victim, someone did something to you you didn't ask for, and pushed, as Coach K usually, I'm sure, talks about, pushed your boundaries, that you're a victim. Because I get so many women who say, I'm not a victim because I give as good as I get. So you think that you're throwing blows, so you're no longer, you're not a domestic, that's still domestic violence. And so what happens when someone decides to speak up is that they finally go through that process, and they start realizing some things, and start realizing that they missed some red flags that they could have. And then you start blaming yourself. That's where my piece comes in. When you start blaming yourself and saying, I caused this, I shouldn't have, he told me that if I walked across the room, he would hit me, so I walked across the room anyway. And so now you're trying to work, you're trying to go to work, you're trying to function, and you're saying, okay, so I'm going to throw myself into my work. Well, now your family's suffering. Now your kids are not seeing you, and you're trying to figure out how to deal with this breakup, and you just feel like you're missing something. That you've held on to the end of your ropes, and you've made a decision to hold on a little bit longer, but you don't know what you're holding on for. So with that, I say start creating that harmony. You know, have you ever been in church and there's always a one person in church that's singing and clapping and laughing and clapping their hands and just rejoicing all off key?
Mm-hmm.
But that person is praising and enjoying themselves. That's what creating harmony inside yourself is. You're continuing to do what you do. It may not look like what everybody else wants to see. It may not it may not sound like when you tell people what's going on, but it's that harmony inside you that keeps you to move into that next spot, and you understand what your goals and your dreams are for, and you've created goals for yourself that you're willing to fight for. And so what I've done for those that come to our summit, I've given what I call a creative harmony checklist. And you can go through that and answer some of those things and just kind of understand, get more into details what that looks like for you. And then for the bonus that I've given is part of a mini series that I have. It's called Healing with Pearls. And Pearl stands for planning, empowerment, analyzing, reviewing, leading, and sharing. And so it takes you through that process of being able to plan what you want for your future. Because if you think about it, when trauma happens, when obstacles happen, hurdles happening along your journey, if you fall off, if you have goals and you have plans, you may have to stall them for a while, but you can go back to that. You know where to go back to. And so that's what I hope to help people create so that they can go out and be their best.
Okay. Thank you. Now I know I'm looking at the time, it's like 8:04. And I guess we're pretty close to wrapping up, but Coach K, you didn't share what your gift is, did you?
Not yet. I completely forgot to do that.
So do you have to leave like right at this minute, or can
I'm
we
good. Go ahead.
Okay. So go ahead and share with us what do they get, you know, as it pertains. Oh, I know, because I was going to ask you about the boundaries, your topic. So okay, share what the guests are going to get in terms of the free gift, and if you want to share the bonus, that's fine. And then I know you spoke earlier about the, you know, like, I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but I'll say sex in the community, right? Just for lack of a better word, and exactly how that relates to the boundaries part. Your presentation.
So I'll start with that part, and then we'll kind of go off into the good gifts, because this would be, of course, the reason why you want to participate, listen, come in, so you can get those gifts. So some of the things that I touch on as far as boundaries, without giving too much away, that's just like, okay, here we go. If you have a balloon and you keep blowing in that balloon, eventually it will pop. And that's because you didn't set a boundary. And so in your life, if you continue to allow people to just blow into you, eventually you will pop. So when we talk about boundaries, it is truly that. The things that we don't do to make sure that we're at peace and we're whole for ourselves so that we can be whole for someone else. And I also kind of go into how it affects you, you know, how it affects your health, how it affects your future relationships, how it affects the resentment that you may have for yourself and other people.
Okay.
And so it's really an interesting topic that I feel like someone who would not have otherwise been thinking about it.
Okay.
It will make you say, you know what? I do this all the time. And here's a fixture for it that I can put into place. Because by the time you finish listening to this topic of this discussion, you will walk away with tools that will help you to start the stepping stones to put some kind of healthy boundaries in place.
Okay.
And so just for, listening to that session, they would get a full coaching session. That's an hour and a half of starting the journey to whatever goals of healing that someone may be interested in.
Okay.
And yes, and there is that bonus as well. The bonus is a silver tier coaching package. So I do encourage everyone. We have a plethora of amazing coaches. You've only heard from 4 here today. So just think about the magnitude of others that we have and how it all ties together. And in the end, it shows up in our business.
Right.
When you think about your sexual being, how do you show up? How do you show up to promote your business? How do you show up to even start a business? How do you show up to get your clients? How do you show up to your potential clients?
Yeah.
All of that comes together in how you feel about yourself. Did you put any kind of protection around you? Are you so worried about making sure that everyone else is good that you're lacking? And by the time you wake up, open up, or you pop like the balloon,
Right.
is it too late?
Right.
Do you feel like getting up and putting those pieces back together? Because even with a balloon that doesn't pop, you keep stretching and it goes back down. Stretch it, goes back down. It never goes back to place. You stretch it too many times, it does not go back to the same form. That's right. You got to work on it to get it back.
Right.
And it does not always go exactly back the way it started.
Right.
So those are those key points that we'll be touching on with my session with those healthy boundaries.
Excellent. Excellent. So let me go ahead and wrap it up. So again, everyone, please tag a coach, share the broadcast out. I will have the link for everyone to be able to sign up by tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, by tomorrow. So just, this is so awesome. It's going to be so many different speakers presenting on so many different topics that you don't want to miss it. And it's all to help you develop personally as well as professionally. So mark your calendars. It is going to be the 16th, 17th, and 18th and 19th. So that's 4 days, 16, 17, 18, 19 of May. Okay, so go ahead and mark your calendars. Like I said, the link will be out no later than tomorrow, and you guys can go ahead and register. Okay, you don't want to miss it. So thank you, ladies, for all of the ladies. I know Lisa had to leave us, but thank you all for participating in the panel, coming and to share a little bit with us about your presentation and what to expect. So much appreciated, and I am so excited. I can't wait to actually hear the presentations. I've heard like bits and pieces, but I haven't had a chance to really sit and listen to everything. But I know it's going to be great. I know it's going to be wonderful and very informative. So thank you so much, ladies. Oh, how you doing, Miss Keisha? Thank you for joining. So ladies, have a wonderful evening. And again, thank you for participating. And I will talk to you all soon.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.